let's take a look at another strategy we could use using our layers to change the background. So the first way that we did this was that we had a background and we had an original image, and then I made the decision to replace this background with the wheel line or the linear irrigation system. So the cat's looking off at something a little bit different, giving the illusion that the cat's actually sitting on the ditch bank. And in so doing, I was able to get rid of my foot and leg here in this lawn chair. And I also maintained some of the grass here just to cover up kind of this ugly tumbleweed that was in the ditch here. So the way we did that was to simply have the background, the original background, and then we put the original picture on top of that to arrive at something that looks like this. And so here's my layers here. We have the background, which is the linear irrigation system, and then I put the cat on top. And of course, if you look in here, you can see that I erased a bunch of that background around the cat to reveal the layer underneath. So let's look at another way that we could achieve a similar result. First of all, make sure you have the background you want to use. There's my background. Here's my subject, the cat. And of course, duplicate these so you're working with copies. We don't want to mess up the original. In fact, I'll go ahead and put the original away, and there's my copy. And once you have that, the next step, again, go ahead and float this. And then before we bring the subject, in my case the cat, out, let's take this background here, come over to the Layers palette, right-click, and duplicate that layer. Click OK. You can give that a name. I'm going to keep background copy. So notice that we have two identical backgrounds. Now let's bring our subject out, float. There's the cat. And just like we did previously, use the Move tool, and I will grab the image and drag the cat on top of the background. And then position. And once again, you could resize this using these handles. Just make sure that you press the Shift key if you do so. But for now, we're going to use the original size image. And I can see these transform controls because Show Transform Controls is selected. So I'll put it right on top of it. And I'll put that image away. So I'm just working with now three. I have a background and two layers. So make sure you have that background, a copy of the background, and then the subject image, in this case my cat. And I want to replace all of this with this. The next step is to rearrange the layers. I'm going to take layer 1 and click and hold it and move it in between the two copies of the background. So now it's sandwiched in between the background and the background copy. Switch back to the background copy, and notice that underneath it is the cat. Something new for us here is this opacity control for the layer. In order to make it a little easier to do some erasing, I can lower the opacity of that background layer that's selected by sliding and revealing a little bit what's underneath. I can reveal all of it by completely eliminating the opacity of that top layer, or just bring in some of it. And that way I can see where I'm erasing. And so that's just a tool to help us out. When we're all finished with this, we'll go ahead and bring that opacity back to 100%. But right now I want to see where the cat is so I don't accidentally erase the cat, or not. I don't want to reveal the layer through the cat. I want to keep the cat there. So we're going to use that just to give us an indication of where it is that we want to apply our erasing to this top layer. So instead of erasing the background in the original image, we're going to erase some of the background that we want to keep to reveal the cat. Perhaps best shown through a demonstration. So I want to find out where the cat is. I'm going to go through to my eraser tool and set that opacity pretty low. Very soft brush for this technique. And so now I'm just going to go ahead and just erase just a little bit. So now I know where the cat is. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this back up to 100%. So there's some of the cat showing through. So I'm going to continue to do that. Let's bring the cat out a little bit here. So we're getting an interesting effect here. I'm going to leave some of this here. I like this how it's fading into the clouds. It's just giving a different feel for what we're trying to achieve. So we've got the cat essentially with a new background, but we've accomplished it by sandwiching our subject between two different layers that are duplicates of the background we wanted to achieve. There's the original. And there we are with our cat inside a new background. So experiment with that, do some practice. Remember, the key is a soft brush and keep that opacity down pretty low, and you'll get some nice effects.